Guys, Martin here. Just wanted to touch base with you, let you know what's happening at our end at Financial Edge Group. So we're still working. We're just working from home. So I made the decision as of last Tuesday that was going to be the last day in the office. We transition myself to my home, Ash to her place, Megan at her place. Otherwise, things are working as they are. So we've got the phone, we've got emails, we're doing meetings on Zoom, talking to our clients as much as we can. So I'd love to talk to you if you've got any thoughts or questions about what's happening. So we're setting ourselves up that this might be our new normal for a little while, but we'll see how things go. I want to get back to the office as soon as we can, but we want to make sure that we're looking after the health of our clients, the health of ourselves, and the whole community. So hopefully you guys are doing the same. So that's what I want to touch on. Things are still happening. We're here, working normal hours, and even a bit longer to make sure things are under control. In terms of things, I think the conversation has changed in terms a little bit over the last few weeks that this is serious, this is a big health concern. And a lot of my focus with clients has been, what do we need to do as a bit of a worst case self-insurance policy? And I've kind of been talking through 5 things we need to focus on in terms of no matter who you are, whatever stage of your life in, depending if you're working or retired or all that kind of stuff, whether you've still got a job or don't have a job. And so therefore, these are kind of 5 things I just wanted to think through in your world, what they look like. So one is try and understand what your expenses are. Are there ways we can reduce that? We're not going out as much, so maybe that's reducing. Are there subscriptions that we're not using anymore that we don't need? And kind of just review and understand what are our expenses, what's our baseline, what's our mortgage cost, all that kind of stuff, and what is that figure per week. Just try and so understand what that baseline looks like. Once we know what our expenses are, also then focus on what our income is. Are we still working? Are we going to continue to work? Where are we getting our income from? Is it pensions? Is it salaries? Is it you might be working but your partner might not? If it's self-employed, is going to be an impact on your business income. Hopefully in a position where your income is more than your expenses and therefore you're in a comfortable position. If it's not, or if there's a threat that your income might be affected, either because it's rental properties that may not get rent or less rent, you may lose one or both of your incomes, income might reduce, dividend income might reduce. Understand what that income looks like. Then also try and understand what are our entitlements, what are our cash reserves. Entitlements could be some of the government stimulus that's coming out, if you're eligible for it, what that looks like. Speak to me if you're not sure, particularly if you're on the cusp on one of those things. But also more about what are our cash reserves. What could we access if we really need it? So that means savings we've got, it means redraw on the mortgages or that kind of stuff we've got it, cash reserves we've got inside of your portfolios. So hey, we need X amount per week. Let's add up all those balances and understand how much time do we have. That's my 4th point. How much time do we have? This thing is unclear about how long it's going to go on for. It could be a few weeks, it could be a few months, potentially 6 months, that kind of thing. We just want to make sure that we know your expenses are, we know what income we're going to get. If there's a shortfall, or if that shortfall increases, what's our cash reserves? Have we got 3 months worth, 6 months worth, 5 years worth? Just so we can comfortably understand, okay, worst case scenario, if this thing lasted for a year, we're still going to be fine. Because what we'll do is, well, this is option A, option B, option C, option D, option E, if I can get my alphabet right, and kind of understand that that's what we're going to go through. If you want to have a chat with me, reach out, make sure we can do that to make sure you're comfortable what those steps are. Once we know what that looks like, and for some people in certain positions, you go, hold on, we've got 5 years plus here. We're comfortable. And hopefully that gives you the confidence to sleep well at night knowing that's okay. Worst case scenario, if this thing goes for a long period of time, we're going to be fine. Therefore, if it's the investment markets, we've got plenty of time for those shares to return back to their normal values where they should be. That kind of stuff. And then option 5, or step 5 is, once we've done that stuff, we're comfortable, there might be some opportunities out there to buy some things while they're cheap, potentially shares, potentially assets, potentially properties, that kind of stuff. So that's not for everybody, but once you've done those steps, you feel like you're comfortable, it's worthwhile exploring that. My conversations and my thoughts are, if you're already in the market, we don't have to put more in. If we're not in because we've been in cash, well, this is an opportunity to set up those portfolios that we should have been setting up or should have been doing. There's definitely some discounts in there. And sure, I don't know where the market's going to be next week or the week after, but I know that's a hell of a lot cheaper than what it was. And therefore, if it's going to be there for long term, perhaps we should be setting out some of that kind of stuff. So they're my 5 thoughts. Understand your expenses, understand what income you've got going in, figure out what cash buffers, cash reserves, annual leave, sick leave, all that kind of stuff you've got up your sleeve. Figure out how long that then equates to. If we need $1,000 a week, we're short by, we've got 50 grand, well, we've got 50 weeks. That should give us a confidence about that. And then maybe look at opportunities if they're there. I encourage everybody to do that exercise, no matter where you are in life, that kind of stuff, to make sure you've got that comfort in terms of that. Other kind of thing I want to touch on, the share market has still been volatile. We still see lots of headlines. It's going to continue to be volatile. There'll be ups and downs because this is still unknown. Again, we don't know how long this will go on for, etc. But when volatility means it goes up and down a lot. Doesn't mean it's always going down. The headlines always report the downs. But last week in 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the share market went up by 12% in 3 days. 12%, that's a lot of money. Now it's still down. It was down the days around that, so it doesn't mean it's back to where it was. It doesn't mean we're at a new normal. But what it means is the swings often cancel out the increases often cancel out the drops. So I expect that's going to continue over the next few weeks. The market's up today at the moment, but who knows? So that's just important. If we're moving money around, we want to make sure we're moving in the same market. Because if you're out of the market for those 3 days, that could certainly hurt you, if that makes sense. So unless you really need that money in the short term, and we shouldn't, there's nobody I'm working with that needs that money in the short term, we're comfortable, we'll just forget about that, focus on our life, focus on things we can control, and make sure that we've got plenty of time up our sleeve for those markets to recover. And for some people who have opportunities, then let's have a chat and talk that through. If you've got any questions, want to have a chat, reach out to me. We're operating, and talk soon. See ya.